Buy Cardano. Buy Cardano. Buy Cardano. Buy Cardano. I think I'm hearing voices, guys. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to capitalize on this Cardano rally. We're going to talk about three things in this video. Number one, we're going to talk about where Cardano is going in this bull market. Number two, we're going to talk about where I am going to be re-entering and buying more Cardano if we have a correction. And number three, we are going to be talking about the 4 major take profit levels that I'm looking at for this cycle to capitalize on the gains that I have made in ADA. If you want to understand how to cycle out of your Cardano this cycle and where to do that, then you found the right video. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Today's video is brought to you by our very own Financial Sovereignty Academy. In the Financial Sovereignty Academy, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about money. Whether you're drowning in debt and living in absolute total chaos, or you're a multimillionaire and you just want to figure out how to be radically generous and grow your wealth even more, we're going to teach you over the 10 weeks of the Financial Sovereignty Academy how to build, maintain, enjoy, and be generous with your wealth. The Financial Sovereignty Academy is the brainchild of over 7 years of education that I've had to learn the hard way on how to make, keep, enjoy, and be generous with money so that it can serve us and we can harvest joy from our wealth. I'm going to show you everything you need to know about money, so make sure to sign up for the Financial Sovereignty Academy with the link in the description box down below. But let's get started. Cardano, at the time of recording this video, is trading just above $1, and it has recently fallen below this massive uptrend that it managed to maintain for over a month. Following the election of President Donald Trump, Cardano rallied almost 300% from 35 cents all the way up to $1.32. And this correction right here is part of a broader crash that we've seen on cryptocurrency over the last 7 days. And broadly speaking, it's actually a very healthy correction that Cardano has witnessed. We rallied to $1.32, we dropped down to 90 cents, and there's a possibility that correction could continue. The main reason that we've seen that big correction is because of 3 major cryptocurrencies. Number one, Bitcoin is at the moment stuck below $100,000. Could break out any time. At the time of recording this video, it's stuck below $100,000. Ethereum is currently stuck below $4,000. You can see Ethereum is going through a very similar pullback to what Cardano is doing right now, breaking an uptrending level of support that had characterized the uptrend over the last month or so. And then we've also got Solana here in a very similar boat. We had basically a parabolic uptrend that Solana was following, and over the last few days, we've broken bearish below it. Now, as we talked about in our last video on why Bitcoin is going to flip in gold, if you haven't watched that, you definitely should. It'll be right up here in the card. This bull market is not over. Not even close. This is a correction that is taking place in the middle of the cycle to help extend the cycle, and people are simply taking profits, which means that this is a great opportunity to be acquiring Cardano, which is why I'm about to tell you where some of our acquisition levels are, and we also have a lot more bull market to go. Cardano is nowhere near done with this cycle, and I'm going to show you here in just a second where I think it's going to go this cycle and where our 4 major exits are going to be right now for our Cardano position. So keeping in mind that this correction is a healthy thing, it's a good thing, the cycle's not over, we've established that in all kinds of content, where am I going to be re-entering if Cardano drops down to a certain level? As you can see, right now, we have a limit order over on Coinbase at 85 cents. That means that if Cardano drops down to 85 cents, we are going to be automatically acquiring Cardano at that level. I'm very excited to do that because I think that that Cardano that we would acquire at 85 cents could potentially rally as high as 3 to 4x. It's important for you guys to understand also that we've been acquiring Cardano for years and our average price is about 50 cents or so. It's actually not as low as I'd like, but it is a lot lower than where I think Cardano is going to go. And so I plotted that entry on the chart here in green. It is right below our most recent low here at 90 cents, and it's just above our major level of support here at 77 cents, which means that if we were to drop straight down here towards 77 cents, we would be able to get the entry and not miss out on the entry because we only went to 86 cents, for example. A key thing to remember, and the reason that we have this entry at 85 cents and not at like 78 cents, is that you want to put your exits just a little bit below the resistance and the entries just a little bit above the support. For example, when we originally rallied to all-time high on Bitcoin, we didn't hit $100,000. We hit $99,400. And so because of that, people that had their sell order at $100,000 didn't actually get to sell their Bitcoin. Now, they did a few days later, but there's a chance that Bitcoin could have stopped there for a long time and they wouldn't have been able to exit the position. You don't want that to happen to you, so it's always good to put the buy orders a little bit higher than the support, the sell orders a little bit lower than the resistance. But why 85 cents? Well, again, remember, we've got some pretty strong levels of support here on Cardano at 77 cents, and then we've also got a pretty strong level of support on Cardano here at roughly 80 cents. 80 cents was our local high that we set back here in March when the entire space went through its first rally. So 85 cents would most certainly get filled if we did drop back down to those levels of support, which frankly I see as a great possibility if Bitcoin continues to struggle to get above $100,000. But now that we know where we will be entering into more Cardano for this rally, what's our price target for the season so that we can backwards extrapolate what our exits should be? I do financial coaching with you guys all the time, and I know that you are very, very, very interested in one question. How do I exit from my portfolio? Many of you guys got left holding a bag last season. You made a bunch of money on paper, but you didn't exit, and so you're really, really hell-bent on getting those positions sold. And I respect that and I want to help you do that. So let's start with our price target here. First thing that we need to do is establish where the entire cryptocurrency space is going to go so that we can frame and contextualize our Cardano price prediction. I'm not interested in telling you Cardano is going to $50. That would be a ridiculously high market capitalization that would not make much sense for this cycle. What I am interested in telling you is something that is not too conservative where you sell way too early, but not astronomically high where you're never going to get an exit and you'll be left exactly like the same people in the last cycle who heard astronomically high price targets, didn't sell any of their position, didn't lock in gains, and now they're bitter at the YouTubers that they watched and told them it was going to 100x. It's not the way this works. We're okay with 5, 10x. That's a really good return. So let's be realistic, and we start by looking at the context of the market as a whole. Let's refer back to our Bitcoin price prediction. Bitcoin we expect for this cycle to go to between $150,000 and $200,000. $150,000 would be a $3 trillion market capitalization for Bitcoin, which would likely turn into about a $5 trillion market capitalization for the cryptocurrency space as a whole. $200,000 would be a $4 trillion market capitalization for Bitcoin, which would likely lead to about a $7 trillion total market capitalization. That's about a 2x from where we are right now on the total chart. So that alone, if Cardano just moved at the same speed as Bitcoin, would likely be about a 2x from where it is right now, but that's awfully conservative. From what I can tell, Cardano is catching up very quickly to Solana and many other projects with its transactions and with its total value locked. Since the election of President Donald Trump, we have seen total value locked on all chains grow from roughly $85 billion to about $137 billion. That's roughly a 70% growth, not even a 2x. If we look at Cardano, on the other hand, in that same time, it has grown from $200 million TVL to almost $700 million TVL. That is over 200% growth on Cardano compared to the total space doing about 50 to 80%. Remember, Cardano did not have smart contracts until Alonzo came online in, I think, September of 2021, right before the end of the bear market. Cardano went to 313 last bull market with no smart contracts. Now they're online and being used. So from the market cap standpoint, it makes sense that it would at least double, but it also makes sense that Cardano would go to at least its previous all-time high, which is 313. You stack those on top of each other, now you're looking at the $6.50 range, and that starts to get us to where I think Cardano is going to go this cycle. You see how we're using what we know, combining it together with the ecosystem that Cardano finds itself in right now to give ourselves a fair value of Cardano. Not $50, not $2, but a fair value. And right now, it looks like we're kind of zoning in on this $5 to $10 range. But let's continue to rationalize that and see if that makes sense. If Cardano was to go to $10, for example, the market capitalization for Cardano would be roughly $350 billion. Does that make sense? Well, that would make it larger than Solana, and it would make it larger than XRP. It would not make it larger than Ethereum, so yeah, that would make sense, especially considering we think XRP and Solana could at least double from here. So from that point of view, that would mean Cardano would become the third largest cryptocurrency above XRP and Solana. Not quite convinced that's going to happen, so that makes that $10 range a little bit less likely, but still possible. But remember, we still think it at least makes sense that Cardano would go back to about a double from the previous all-time high. So $6 is making a lot of sense. $10 is seeming a little high. So somewhere around 6 to 8.5 is starting to sound reasonable. So now we've looked at it from three perspectives. Number one, the market capitalization size, and does it just pass the common sense rational test? Number two, we've looked at it from the point of view of we think Cardano will probably double from the previous all-time high because market cap around the board is going to at least double from here. And number three, we also understand that Cardano did not even have smart contracts last cycle, and it went to 313. It's got just as much hype, just as strong of a community. So 313 should be the baseline of where we think Cardano is going to go. So with that in mind, let's look at the technical analysis and use that to help us make a price target for this cycle. I firmly believe that logarithmic extension is going to give us our best chance at getting a solid price target on Cardano. And the reason for that is because that has been a very helpful tool in measuring the all-time high potential of Bitcoin for multiple cycles. In the last cycle, for example, Bitcoin went straight to the 3.618 Fibonacci extension. In the last cycle, for example, Bitcoin went straight to the 3.618 Fibonacci extension here at about $63,500. I think it makes rational sense to use Fibonacci extension to give us some idea of where Cardano is going in this cycle. So if we draw our Fibonacci retracement here from the all-time high down to the bear market bottom, then that will give us our Fibonacci extension. If you want to learn more about how Fibonacci retracement and Fibonacci extension work, check out the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy with the link in the description box down below, where you'll learn all about it. Generally, we're looking at extrapolation figures based on the 0.618 extrapolation. So 1.618, which is the golden ratio, otherwise known as phi, 2.618, or 3.618, which is just phi plus 1 or phi plus 2. The 1.618 Fibonacci extension level would give us a price target of roughly $5, which will probably be a major level of resistance on Cardano, as it is a big even, so we want to watch out for that. The 2.618 Fibonacci extension level sits here at roughly $7.80, which would make a lot of sense with that 6 to 9-ish range that we're looking at based on what makes logical sense that we talked about earlier. Our 3.618 Fibonacci extension, which is where Bitcoin went in the last bull market, would be sitting at $10.06, but remember, that'd be putting Cardano's market capitalization almost to Ethereum's market cap, so we're starting to get outside of the realm of possibility for this cycle. With this in mind, I would be very comfortable making a price prediction at the 2.618 Fibonacci extension for Cardano at $7.80. And so we arrive at today's price prediction for Cardano for this cycle. Two questions. Number one, does that make sense? I'm not trying to FOMO you. I am trying to be as realistic here as possible. Number two, when would that happen? Because you guys want to know when you're going to be able to take profits on this stuff. The first question, does it make sense? Well, a $7.80 Cardano would be roughly a $275 billion market capitalization, which running down coin market cap is high, but definitely possible. That would put Cardano at being worth 2.5 times Solana's current value. But when you take into account that our price prediction for Solana is sitting between $500 and $1,000 this cycle, which would put its market capitalization at $200 to $400 billion, then it starts to achieve parity. When you also, once again, consider the fact that Cardano smart contracts were not online in the last cycle and it still went to $3.13, which was about $125 billion market cap, it makes sense for market cap to about double from there up to $7.80 or about $250 billion. So yeah, $7.80, $275 billion in market cap is high, but possible. Number two, when would that happen? Well, it would most likely happen towards the end of the cycle, which would probably be in late Q3 to early Q4 of next year. We've done a lot of analysis to explain why the cycle will likely end in late Q3 to Q4 of next year. Cardano last cycle hit its all-time high pretty much at the very end of the cycle, and there's no reason to believe that it wouldn't do that again, which means if we do hit $7.80, it would probably be happening in, say, September, October, November, December, sometime like that next year. Now, for our third topic here, which is our actual exits, because that's what you came for, how do I take profits on Cardano if we're going to go here? Let's talk about that. I'm going to give you 4 major exits here, and you're going to be scratching your head at first. It's Jeb, why in the world would you do that? And I'm going to explain, so just stay tuned. Our first exit on Cardano here is going to be extremely conservative at $2.25. The reason for that is below these local highs that were set on ADA in the last cycle. You choose how much of the position you want to take out here, but somewhere around $1.95 to $2.25, a range in there. And honestly, $1.95 would be fine because it'd be below the Fibonacci retracement, which Cardano could hit its head on and just stop there. Would be a good early conservative exit. A lot of you guys have entries down here at 20, 30, 40 cents. That would be a 10x. So yank your principal plus some there. Have a grand old time with your 10x growth and be happy about it. And then you can definitely let some ride. Yank the principal as early as you can after you've got 200, 300, 400% in growth. And then you let everything else, the house money, ride, so you've guaranteed profit. At that point, you have completely eliminated risk and you have the ability to be a lot more carefree. And it gives you the psychological permission to allow yourself to hold on to the Cardano further into the cycle so that you can get a higher high without freaking out and selling early. So take maybe 10 to 20% of the position out here around $1.95 up to about $2.25, and you're probably going to want to do that with maybe 10% of the position or maybe say the principal that you invested. Our second exit here, and you're going to want to take a little bit higher of a percentage of the portfolio out at this point, would be about $2.90. The reason for that is there is a possibility that Cardano tries to rally back to all-time high, stops out at 313 or some level a little bit below it, and it doesn't break all-time high this cycle. I know I'm going to get lynched for saying that, but it is possible, and I want you to be prepared for it. So if Cardano does go to $2.90, then you should probably take some profits there as well. By this point in time, you have probably taken profits plus 2 or 3x returns because a lot of you guys have really low entries. And at that point, you're dealing with house money and you can let it fly. That is why our next two exits are going to be sitting up here at $4.75 and $7.35. $4.75 sits 25 cents, about 2 to 3% below $5, which means if we did hit our head on the 1.618 Fibonacci level, which is $5, which is very likely, if we rally up here, $5 is going to feel like 100K on Bitcoin, then you're going to be able to take profits before you get there. And again, many of you guys got in at 30 cents, so you're looking at a 15x here. So quit being greedy and take some profits. After that, you're probably sitting on 20 to 30% of the position after you've taken exits at those three levels. You've been conservative. You've been happy with the 10x. You're not going to get that anywhere else. It's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of return, so be happy about it. But you've still got some Cardano, most likely. And so that's where our next exit is going to be sitting here at $7.35. We're 15 cents below $7.50 because that's probably going to be a big, flat level of resistance. And even if we do break $7.50, 2.618 is sitting up here at our bull market price target, which is $7.80. So you want to get an exit in before $7.50 and before $7.80. So $7.35 is going to be our next major exit. There is also the option to just wait until all-time high, yank the profits at $2.90, and then sell 1% of the portfolio every single week, and then scale that up as you go higher. That's our other strategy that we've talked about in other pieces of content. But these are 4 major exits that I want you to consider if you're really busy, you don't have the time, and you just want to make sure you take profits. I've seen this so much in coaching. Every single time I do a coaching call, literally every single call I've done lately, people are asking me, Jeb, I've got a position. I want to know how to liquidate it. This is exactly how you should go about liquidating your Cardano portfolio, in my opinion. This is not financial advice. Adjust the numbers if you want. Do your own analysis, but try to follow the thought process we've gone down. Make sure to consider what price target is reasonable. I see people saying a $35 Cardano this cycle. They are being fools, and they're going to lead you off a cliff. Come on, guys. That's a $1 trillion market cap. Cardano is not ready for a $1 trillion market cap. It's just not there. Might be one day. It's not happening this cycle at all. You can quote me on it. We're not going to $35 this cycle. It's clickbait. $7.80, on the other hand, is high, and it might be hard to get there, which is why a lot of our exits are down below $5. So we want to be conservative and actually exit the position. But $7.80 is actually technically possible. So make sure you're following the train of thoughts that we've laid out in this video. If you want to learn more about how to think this way, thinking in the financially sovereign way, the way that's actually going to build you wealth over time in a sustainable way, and you're not going to get knocked out of the game and go bankrupt halfway through, then make sure to check out the Financial Sovereignty Academy. We've got tons of content over here teaching you guys how to succeed with finances, and our editor who's working on this video, thank you so much to him, is helping us to edit more content for the FinSov Academy every single week. There's a bunch of videos coming, so make sure to sign up for the Financial Sovereignty Academy with the link in the description box down below. It is $99 a year. You blow more money on pizza every single month than you spend on the Financial Sovereignty Academy in one single year. Invest in your education. It is the best investment you will ever make. For $99 a year, I am going to teach you how to manage hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars of wealth. This is the best ROI that you're going to get anywhere. The $99 you spend on FinSov Academy is going to help you make tens, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars in your career if you actually do what I'm going to teach you. So sign up with the link in the description box down below and stay tuned because we got more content coming this month. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.